this Monday afternoon.
Fully ready. Yeah.
Fully ready.
Yeah. I get up to speed fast.
Yes. We'll have Sal Capaccio with us shortly. Countdown to kickoff. The weather in Atlanta, not that I should be the one to tell you because here's Sal right now on the line and he's there, but perfect. Supposed to be low 70s with the roof open for the game tonight in Atlanta. The update brought to you by Paddock Chevrolet. Score big with new Chevys and quality pre-owned vehicles from Paddock Chevrolet. 7:15 kickoff, Bills and Falcons. Chris Brown, Eric Wood with the play-by-play from the Northwest Bank broadcast booth. Countdown to kickoff is presented by Northtown Automotive. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it at Northtown. Our pregame huddle with Sal, which is imminent, is brought to you by Northtown Hyundai. It's the Northtown Hyundai pregame huddle. Northtown Hyundai, Western New York's premier Hyundai dealership. Do I do the trivia now? I think I do.
I think we do the trivia now.
Tailgate trivia presented by TSE Buffalo. Be the first, poor Sal, be the first caller to correctly answer our tailgate trivia question, and you'll win a Buffalo Bills autographed merch item courtesy of Total Sports Enterprises Buffalo. So we want to know, thinking of the Falcons, who was the last Bills quarterback to win in Atlanta? Who was the starting quarterback when the Bills last won in Atlanta? I might even want to give you a hint since I'm in a good mood. It was the last time they played there. They won the game. It was a pretty big upset.
All right.
That year.
Yep.
First correct caller wins. The number is 716-221-4WGR. That's 4947. Sal Capaccio. Sal, you would have been at that game, right? You were well on the sideline beat by then. 2017?
Scoop and score. Yeah. Yeah. I saw the highlight of that today, and I did because this came up I think on Friday with us, and you because I said a pick six, and you corrected me, rightly so, and I saw that highlight today and didn't remember that it was like everybody else looked like they stopped playing. It's one of those plays where everyone thinks it's a dead ball. White just scoops it up and runs down, and even the celebration in the end zone is a little muted. Like there's some dancing, but it's kind of like we don't know if this is really going to stand, is what it looks like, and then it stood.
There's some dancing, but it wasn't like people were excited to be dancing. It felt like maybe they had to be dancing.
Right.
Well, that's 8 years ago now, and the last time the Bills were there. What does that mean, if anything? Not that it was 8 years ago specifically, but when you don't play somebody, we play a team as rarely as this. We had this with the Saints a few weeks ago too. Do you think it makes preparation significantly harder? I think it might have to be a little bit harder when you don't know as much about your opponent. You're not playing them twice a year, for example. But, with all the preparation teams do, maybe it's not that much of a difference.
It has nothing to do with the teams. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a big echo in my ear right now. I don't know if somebody can fix that here back there. Give me 1 second, guys.
Okay.
He wasn't kidding. You really needed a second. Well, a little more, as it turns out. Do we have our? Did we get an answer? Well, Zach's trying to put out a fire, so I shouldn't ask him if we have our correct.
We should.
I'm sure. I'm confident that we do, but I would like to know for sure before we say it. But it would be a good thing to say while we're waiting for Sal to get reconnected here.
Yes. If I told you that his stats, the answer to the trivia question, their stats that day were 12 for 20 for 182, then you would know it.
Right.
And no picks.
I know that line. No picks is key. Right. No picks.
Never threw a pick.
Definitely key.
All right. Well, we're good. Sal,
Nope.
Sal, you there? No.
1 minute.
We're not good.
All right.
Sorry, everybody. What does the other Bills win in Atlanta? I'm pretty sure you didn't watch it on Red Zone.
No, I think that's right. We talked about this game from the late 80s or early 90s at Fulton County Stadium, I remember a game that they lost. Don Beebe did something in the game that I remember, but I don't remember exactly what. And so I don't have their other win there.
1973.
Wow.
It's the first ever time they met the Falcons, the Bills, and they won the game 17-6. That's the only other win they have in Atlanta since 2017.
73 is the 2003 season from OJ, and I don't remember an Atlanta game. I'm sure I watched it because road games were on TV, home games weren't. But I just would not have remembered that opponent.
So the Bills go into this game that in 1973 6-5, and the Falcons 8-3. And yes, this is the OJ year, so they have a winning record. And they're on this incredible chase with him. Yet they were 13.5-point underdogs, according to Pro Football Reference.
Wow.
So, man, Atlanta must have been. I mean, do you ever remember Atlanta being
1973? Is
that good then?
That's even like before Steve Bartkowski, isn't it?
Way before,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You hit me with way before there. Holy cow.
Was it not way before?
I don't know. I feel like that's
you're right.
That's the 80s, so I don't know about way before.
I think you're right. I don't think it was way before.
Yeah.
A couple years.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad I stood up for myself.
I'm not sure, though.
You always try to tell your kids, stand up for yourself when you think you're right.
Okay, now back to our conversation with Sal. You were talking about how it might be different to prepare for a team you hardly ever play.
Yeah, so guys, it's not about the team, it's just about the coaches, right? I mean, there's so much changeover in coaches. Yes, personnel-wise, I get it, but 8 years, right? You're not going to have the same, you're not going to see a lot of the same guys. I totally get that. But it's not as much the personnel because there's personnel changes every year in every team, to be honest with you. It's really about the coaches. Raheem Morris is the head coach, and, there's got to go back to Sean McDermott playing against him or his coaching staff against him. That's what it's mostly about is coaches. So, yeah, you're going to get that, depending on who you play against. But if you have any familiarity with the coaches or not, that's what matters more than anything.
Well, we have that here with Ulbrich being the defensive coordinator of the Falcons, Jeff Ulbrich, who was the Jet coach last year. So he knows what he's looking at.
Yeah, for sure. And the Bills will know what they're looking at with him, I guess, right? So you're right. There will be some familiarity. He'll understand what the Bills do. He'll understand Josh Allen. And they just played last year against him, right, when he was with the Jets. So no doubt there'll be some familiarity there.
Yeah. Has anyone mentioned to you at all, Sal, these 7:15 as opposed to 8:15, messing with their preparation? I know it's only an hour, but whatever. Guys like routines. I know McDermott does. Does it matter at all to any of them? Is it just a mild inconvenience, if anything?
Yeah, I don't even know if it's an inconvenience. They set it up. They prep for it. I mean, this day, I think that in this environment the Bills play in now, meaning how they have so many different games on different days, different nights, different times, I don't think it matters as much anymore to a lot of these guys. Yeah, they like their routine. They understand that, but it's a Monday night game. It is an hour different, but to be honest with you, when you play on a central time zone or something like that, it could be a little bit different. That's right. So, yeah, I mean, it does, if you had a certain routine. I would say this. I'll tell you, I take an early bus to the stadium. This is 4 or 5 buses that come in, right, for the players or whatever. And typically there's no players on my bus. There were a couple of players on my bus today, so that might have been because of what you're saying, Bulldog. To be honest with you, they probably have a certain way they want to make sure they do it. But I haven't heard anything about them being disruptive or anything about it.
Sal Capaccio in Atlanta, Bills and Falcons tonight. So what's the latest with injuries, Sal? We're waiting on Dalton Kincaid, Curtis Samuel. Are those the headliners?
Yeah, both of them, because we know that DeMar Hamlin is on IR. We know CJ Sanders is on IR. We know that Ed Oliver's going to play, guys. He's off the injury report, so he's playing. Those are the two guys we're waiting on. You will get the inactive list at 5:45 p.m. with a 7:15 p.m. start. Now, we also know the Bills are going to have to elevate a defensive tackle because they only have 3 on the roster with Deion Walker, Daquan Jones, and Ed Oliver because C.J. Sanders went on IR. So until Larry Ogunjobi comes back, which isn't tonight, they're going to have to elevate somebody. Now, that has to be filed with the league by 4 p.m., but we may not hear that until the actives and inactives are announced at 5:45 p.m. So that is something that's got to happen tonight. We'll see where that goes. My sense is for DeMar Hamlin that Jordan Hancock could just be activated. But if they wanted to, they could elevate Jordan Poyer if they feel that they need a little more veteran presence back there, and he could play. But we'll see if that happens. But yes, Dalton Kincaid and Curtis Samuel are the two injured guys that are questionable we'll be watching for.
I would assume Kincaid is the bigger, would be the guy you'd miss more, right? Like Samuel, I feel like he sat out the first couple games, and Elijah Moore was pretty much in that role, and I feel like that's an easy swap. I mean, it's not exact skill set wise, but it's close enough that I don't think that's that disruptive. No Kincaid, I mean, he is by far their biggest pass catching threat at tight end.
I agree with that, and I wonder. So to me, it's like if you don't have Dalton Kincaid. First of all, let's just say this: they would plan for that, right? I mean, sure. I think they understand as much as Sean McDermott says on Saturday. I want to see Dalton and Curtis and how they get through today. It's not a surprise if he doesn't play. They've been planning, I'm sure, all week with or without him. So they'll have a plan. Now, one of the things to watch for is if we do get the elevations and Kaliki Latu is elevated, obviously that's a sign that Dalton Kincaid might not be playing. Doesn't have to be, but it just might be that sign. Or it could be just because they want to guard themselves against snap counts or getting injured or something during a game. As far as on-the-field personnel, the Bills run a lot of 13. They probably wouldn't run as much 13, obviously, even with an extra tight end, or Latu at tight end if he was the guy. But I think they have a lot of faith in Dawson Knox. He's been in this offense a while. He's made some big plays for the Bills. He's not Dalton Kincaid. So is that Curtis Samuel? He might not play. Is that Elijah Moore? That could be the response. I would say that maybe the running backs become more of a passing threat in this game if Dalton Kincaid doesn't play. Ty Johnson has one catch this year, guys. One catch for Ty Johnson, I think it is, right? I have to look up the stats to make sure on that.
That's right.
But I think it's one catch. And, to me, if you're missing Dalton Kincaid as a matchup on a linebacker, maybe that becomes more of a running back matchup. I'll also throw this in. The Falcons blitz at the highest rate of any team in this league by a lot. I mean, it's close to 44% of dropbacks. Now, against Josh Allen, who typically can beat a blitz, I don't know if they back off a little bit. But I think they're going to do what they do. That's why they are top 10 in the league in sacks per pass attempt, top 10 in the league in interception rate. They love to get after the quarterback. And if that is the case, you're going to need those guys right off the line of scrimmage and hot reads, and that could lead to running backs or somebody in the slot like a Elijah Moore or a Curtis Samuel or a Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, and Ty Johnson, we just talked about this last hour, Sal, might see more snaps than he's been seeing because of that, because he is, as much as they're, highlighting James Cook a little bit more this year snap share-wise, Johnson is the more dependable, as part of the role as the third down back, blitz pickup guy. So I wonder if they see that, those numbers, coming regularly, then maybe Ty Johnson plays, a lot more than he has this year.
Yeah, that's a great point. And so obviously we've seen a lot more of James Cook than we have of Ty Johnson or Ray Davis than we did even compared to last year. But that might be a situation where you want to put Ty Johnson on the field a little bit more to catch passes, to block. I would also tell you, though, this could be a game where if you're going to send heat, the Bills could maybe find a seam. That's what James Cook specializes in, right? I mean, he finds a seam and a crack, and all of a sudden you're vacated at the second level because you brought extra pressure. Now suddenly James Cook is off for a big play.
I bet they do curtail that tonight because of this matchup. We'll see. It'll be interesting to check back on that.
You mean the Falcons curtail their blitzing?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, last three quarterbacks faced, I don't know why I leave Mayfield out week one. I mean, they did well against Mayfield, but they lost. McCarthy, Bryce Young, and Mariota. That's just sort of a recipe.
Fire away, right?
And, mostly, not successful against Carolina. But, 2 wins in those 3 games.
I hope you're wrong, because I think the Bills, a way for them to maybe comfortably win this game is hit some plays. Like Sal's saying, hit a seam on a running play, break a tackle on a hot read, and just make some house calls. Like that. If they want to blitz Josh Allen, I myself, be careful what you wish for. Sitting here hours before the game, I would welcome it.
Yeah, and I would say this too, although someone tweeted me earlier today, well, we haven't seen him throw down the field. I love that. I'm like, this might not be the game to do that. This might be the game where he gets it out of his hands quickly because of what we just talked about. You don't want Josh Allen sitting back there and facing extra guys coming after him and blitzing. That's just a recipe for your quarterback to get hit and other things to happen. So I think this is a game where maybe at the end of the game, you might look and say, you know what, the average depth of target wasn't a lot because he had to get rid of the ball, but the Bills had an effective plan against that, hopefully.
Sal Capaccio in Atlanta, the Bills and Falcons tonight here on the Buffalo Bills radio network. About Atlanta's offense, what do you think it is? So many young players. The Bills haven't seen any of their big weapons, including their quarterback, before, unless you want to count Kyle Pitts, who they did play against 4 years ago, and he got hurt in that game against the Bills. He had a huge catch and run, if I remember correctly. Still, Penix, Bijan Robinson, London, first ever matchup with these guys. Up and down results, lots of talent. What do you think it'll look like?
Yeah, Penix has some nice numbers here at home. I think he's thrown for 298 and 315 or something like that in the 2 home games. On the road, not as much. Guys, I'll tell you a couple of things. We can talk about the stadium and the environment, but there's going to be a lot of Bills fans here, so I don't know if that matters to that stat at all. But he's been pretty good at home. I think their offense overall, they're loaded with elite talent. We know that. Bijan Robinson is just special. Kyle Pitts is really great, and Drake London obviously is a fantastic wide receiver. No Darnell Mooney will hurt them today. They don't have their deep threat. You know, he's not playing in tonight's game. What I think about their offense is it's, hey, Mike, just get it to these guys, right? It's just be a point guard, be a distributor, don't turn the ball over, don't kill us, like a game manager, basically. He's had 7 NFL starts, and he's not a super mobile quarterback. That's why I think Ed Oliver is so key tonight, guys. I think Ed Oliver, if you can get interior pressure and force Michael Penix to move left or move right, I think that's a great thing for the Bills, and that's what they want to do. But they're going to get the ball to Bijan Robinson. My expectation is he touches the ball at least 20 times. He has not had less than 18 touches in any game yet.
Yeah, and we'll see if the Bills this week are up to it. I mean, he is an elite runner, and respecting the point you make about Oliver, we've seen them get run on. Last week was better, and it was more the couple of miraculous plays from Made at Stephon Diggs that helped New England win that game. But I'd say the numbers from that game and the eye test really, like the Bills were improved. What do you think meant that? Was that more just a matchup thing, or did something about how the Bills played New England account for that?
I think that the Bills just missed a lot of tackles, to be quite honest. And Stephon's an elite route runner, right? And that's a recipe for him putting up big numbers. They had a great plan to get it to him. They wanted to get him the ball. I think the Patriots went into that game. Stephon Diggs is such a competitor. Mike Vrabel, I think they said we're gonna get Stephon his today. He wants to go off, and I think he was great in that game, and he did everything he wanted to do. And they ran a lot of concepts to get him open, and then when he was open, Drake May did a great job to find him, and there were some miraculous plays, like you said. And then the Bills missed tackles. The Bills can't miss tackles tonight. They have to tackle Bijan. I think that is a really, really big key about tonight. They have to tackle the ball carrier tonight.
Season high in pass yards against last week, 267. The previous high was the Ravens, 194 for the Bills this year. Rushing yards, though, from 189 allowed to the Saints in week 4 to 71 by the Patriots last week. So did tip the scales in that direction. All right, so Oliver is big in this game. We'll see if Kincaid and Samuel play. You've got Bills fans, you say. You've got the roof open. You've got the anthem rehearsal. We timed it beautifully.
I know. You got all this going on. I would say this, though, guys. The roof is not open yet. I'm very curious when they're going to open this thing, because they did announce it would be open earlier this week, but it is not open right now. It is closed, and it's like an eye, right? It opens like an eye, like a spaceship. And that's going to be interesting to watch that open, like when you watch – Rogers Center and how it opens during the game. Like, that could be something like that. I'd also tell you the end zones are set up with the old school Atlanta and the diamonds, and the old Falcons logo is in the middle of the field. So it is totally for the throwback night, obviously. Throwback uniforms for both teams. And some of you guys might be interested in, this is one of the only stadiums where the TV side, our radio and the TV side, is on the visitor's sideline. We are behind the Bills bench up here on the radio, and I think that's how it is on TV tonight too, where most are behind the home team bench. This is one where it's behind the away team bench. Okay.
I'm seeing videos of the roof being open there. I think it takes a minute.
Oh, there you go.
Just a minute. Not live. This isn't happening as you're talking.
Okay.
I think like Sal would be telling us about it. You're watching like old videos of it being open.
I'm watching a time lapse.
And by the way, there's also here at the stadium, because they host Final Fours, like there's auxiliary bleachers that they pull out from up top to make the stadium bigger.
Okay.
Like it's just it's kind of it's a really special, cool stadium, obviously, and it's got a lot of little bells and whistles.
10 minutes. It takes 10 minutes to open the roof there.
Okay.
So plenty of time. All right, Sal, thank you. Enjoy the night.
All right, thanks, guys. You got it.
I am